The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
His life wasn't worthy.
An out-of-town volunteer killed on a D.C. street. What led up to a fatal robbery as loved ones deal with the unthinkable. And DeSantis drops out with the one-time top contender to take on Donald Trump, says about the GOP race days before the next big primary. And it's almost time for tax season, stretching your dollar to help you file across the DMV.
And it's still cold out there, but not bone chilling cold like it was yesterday with those winds. We'll talk about what to expect for tonight and coming up this week.
Thanks, Scott. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 6 this Sunday evening. I'm Ben Dennis. We begin tonight in Prince George's County, Maryland. A police officer is in the hospital after being hit by a van. We're told that police responded to a call for a possible break-in at this gas station on Crane Highway around 2 a.m. When one of the officers approached the driver of a van that was parked in front of the store, the driver drove away and hit that officer. Another officer fired his gun at the driver. The driver and a second suspect were arrested shortly thereafter. One of them was shot. That investigation is ongoing. Meantime, in D.C., police are now investigating a deadly hit and run in Northwest. We're told that a man was crossing 16th Street around 1 a.m. yesterday morning when a Toyota Camry hit and killed him. The driver left. The victim, 39-year-old Delaverleur Dunbar, was sent to a nearby hospital where he later died. Anyone with information is asked to call police. And in the district as well, police are investigating two separate shootings within 5 minutes. Left two men hurt early this morning. The first on 3rd in Northeast around 4:30 a.m. When police arrived, they found a man who was unconscious but breathing. He was sent to a local hospital. Around 4 minutes later, officers then responded to a shooting on Mississippi Avenue in Southeast. It was there officers found a man who was shot, conscious and breathing. Those investigations are ongoing. And breaking out, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has suspended his campaign for president. The GOP primary field now down to 2. DeSantis exits the race just 2 days before the New Hampshire primary and after a resounding second-place finish in the Iowa caucus. Early polls indicated DeSantis was in a strong position to take on former President Trump. But this, of course, did not happen.
I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign.
And in his announcement online to exit the race, DeSantis endorsed Trump. Meanwhile, former UN ambassador in South Carolina, Governor Nikki Haley, remains the closest contender of the former president in the GOP primary field. And just ahead, the local primary election news that Virginians need to know to cast their votes. Stay with us. And developing in the district, we told you about at the top of the newscast, a 23-year-old gunned down late this week out of town. And a volunteer, Ryan Realbuto, died after somebody shot him Thursday night along South Dakota Avenue in Northeast. 23-year-old was part of a religious group in the district to help the community. DC News Now's Dave Laval joins us from Don Bosco Ray High School in Tacoma Park, where this victim taught. Dave, what's the mood like there this evening?
Good evening, Ben. Well, can tell you that I spoke to a teacher earlier who did not want to go on camera. He described Ryan Realbuto as a saint and someone already greatly missed. Realbuto belonged to Cap Corps, founded by the Capuchin Franciscan Friars. He's part of the group in the DMV for a year to serve those in need. Realbuto graduated from New York St. Bonaventure University with degrees in sociology and criminology. He chose to help students at Tacoma Park's Don Bosco Cristo Rey High School. Neighbors told us they're shocked to hear about Realbuto's death, even though they didn't know him.
Oh my gosh, that's heartbreaking. His whole life was ahead of him. And just like that, when he came to help people, someone decided that his life wasn't worthy. His life was worth more than that.
Realbuto, according to the group's Facebook page, taught at the school for the last 6 months. His funeral takes place Saturday in his hometown of Pittsford, New York. D.C. police are offering a reward of up to $25,000 for information leading to the arrest and the conviction of the person responsible. We're live in Tacoma Park. Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Tough story indeed, Dave. Thank you for following it. We're going to turn now to your weather coverage. It has been a frigid few days. Scott Sumner standing by with a look at the currents. Hey, Scott.
Hello there, Ben, and hello to you on this Sunday evening. Current temperature is 32 degrees, so we're already faring a little bit better than we were this time last night. And yeah, I know 32 is cold and at the freezing mark, but certainly I think we were into the lower 20s at this time last night with higher wind gusts out there. Current temperatures, like I said, in the 30s in the district, and we'll be falling into the 20s over the next couple of hours, eventually getting into the teens. So it is going to be a cold night, but with less wind, it's not going to feel so brutally cold. Those winds really are what captivate you and really what get you when you step outside. Now, wind gusts are cut in half across the area here. We're looking anywhere from 7 up to about 21 or 27 miles an hour here. So wind speeds have come down quite a bit. As a result, wind chills are not quite as dramatic as they were last night in single digits and even negative numbers. We're looking here at teens, mid and upper teens, lower to middle 20s. So certainly nothing out of the norm for us here in the region, in the middle of winter. So how about tracking the cold? Well, we've got, like I said, the cold air on top of us for now, but that is going to retreat, the coldest of air, starting tomorrow and going into Tuesday up towards Canada's way, and will stay up that way and not looking to come back down, at least in the short term, across our viewing area. And what will happen when we do have moisture moving in, because it will be milder? Well, you'll notice here rain chances start to ramp up instead of snow chances. We'll talk about that and how much rain could fall coming up.
All right, Scott, thank you. Attention to drivers in Montgomery County. A water main break has closed 2 lanes of southbound and northbound lane on Route 29. That's in effect between Southwood and Timberwood Avenues in Silver Spring. Officials say drivers should expect delays in the area and try to find another route if possible. And officials also dealing with another water main break, this time in Arlington. Crews are now on the scene of that break on South 28th. That road closed right now. The Arlington Department of Environmental Services says that 200 water customers could be affected. Officials expect to fix that main break by midnight. We'll keep you updated. Some car trouble for electric car owners because of the frigid cold weather. Some Tesla drivers say their cars completely died because of the cold drained their batteries, but there are ways to slow that drain.
Last year, I had to do it in the winter. I never faced this last year, but this year it's horrible.
The best way to do is to tell your car in the navigation that you're going to charge, and it preconditions the battery to accept the charge faster.
So far, Tesla has not yet responded to comment about those drained batteries. And in Virginia, there's a bipartisan push to allow folks serving long prison sentences to possibly get released early. The bill put up in the state's General Assembly would allow inmates to file a petition for release. Judges would then take into account the prisoner's age, behavior while in jail, and several other factors. The judge could also then dismiss that petition, modify the sentence, or release the inmate on probation. One woman says that her incarcerated husband deserves a second chance.
He has done immeasurably well. He's created programs. He is helping to mentor other youth that are incarcerated to help them be better people when they return to the community and to steer them away from the path that they are on that has landed them in prison.
Victims would also be part of the process and could make their wishes known before a judge makes any decision. D.C. police say that they have arrested 3 teenagers for assaulting and carjacking a rideshare driver in Southeast. Officials say the driver picked up the teens at the intersection between South Capitol and Southern Avenue around 5:30. One teen then told the driver to take them to an alley near Horner Place. One of the teens then pulled out a gun and demanded the victim's car keys. When the victim refused, the teens assaulted the victim, we're told, took the car and left. Police were able to find that car. The victim was taken to the hospital. And there's a new sheriff in Berkeley County, West Virginia. Former West Virginia State Trooper Rob Blair was sworn in on Friday. He replaces Nathan Harmon, who recently resigned. Just last month, Harmon took a plea deal with county prosecutors over charges that he interfered with an investigation into his daughter's car accident. The sheriff says his top priority is bringing the county together.
Unity is so important in any community. If you have division, and we've seen so much division the last several years in this nation, in this world, and at some point we have to get this unity back, and I intend on doing that here in Berkeley County.
More of the story online at DCNewsNow.com.